about fighting some conquest and the loss of the elves and the land. I'm like, do you come to me?
Which maybe the expectation is too high?
No, if it was in a universe where this stuff made sense, then maybe. If it's like Lord of the Rings or freaking Star Wars, you'd be like, okay, people weird like that.
The dude with the mother, he keeps saying mom, mom. Like, he's not gonna, first of all, you're not gonna say mom. Mom.
I have no idea where that blade was.
It almost looks like soap opera.
60 frames.
Yeah, but blurry.
Shit will roll like a champion, I hear that.
Who cares? Like, what just happened? Let me tell you what warriors don't wear.
I don't think she's a warrior.
Forget all this fighting.
I don't care. If I'm going to like rob stuff and like risk my life, I'm not having all my skin exposed.
I want all of it exposed.
I want some like cargo pants that are comfortable, that I can move around in.
I know.
Like, I haven't seen her do anything.
Alright. Welcome to another Ballistic Blade review. I'm the violence conductor.
Reddick for president.
And this is basically Between Two Blades. We like to call this little review. So we just finished watching Cecily Faye's
Babes with Blades. Babes with Blades.
Yeah, so I had seen a movie called Warrioress on Amazon Prime. I've been on an Amazon Prime kick to see if there's any good action, so I can, slide in there, do some damage with the team.
Yeah.
And this was something that I found out she was coming out with in January this year. So I've been looking forward to watching this because the trailer looked pretty action packed, and it was a thing. It was definitely a movie, and it was interesting.
Mm-hmm. I would just like to say, first of all, I'm probably gonna shred this movie, but good on you, Cecily Faye, for writing, directing, producing, scoring.
Yeah.
A whole movie.
All the jobs.
It's easy to sit back and be like, oh, well, this, that, and the other thing could be better or whatever, but that's really freaking dope.
Yeah.
And so,
Respect.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the plot, camera, stuff like that overall?
Overall,
Out of 5 blades, you give it?
1.
1 out of 5 blades.
I'm maybe like a 2 or something. It wasn't that it was all bad. It just wasn't necessarily well executed. The writing wasn't really great. The acting wasn't very good. Dialogue wasn't good. It just overall was just not very tight. Usually you want to have somebody look over your script and do table reads and stuff like that so you can make sure that the vocabulary all lines up, and is that the way people would actually talk, and how does this sound, and get people's feedback. That probably didn't happen.
Wow, okay. It wasn't terrible, but it was also at the same time not good.
At all.
At all.
Even a little bit.
Okay, so I'm weighing on the plot. Yeah, it seemed weird, because it was like a post-apocalyptic, steampunk-looking situation we had going on. And it just seemed like it would have been better served had they not been speaking in, like King's English or whatever they were doing.
Like some weird Shakespearean.
Yeah, basically.
Something.
When you give me a movie and the title says Babes with Blades, I'm setting the lowest of bars, first and foremost. And so I'm not expecting to hear like a Shakespearean sonnet happen when they start talking. Because, literally, the cover of the movie is a chick with oily tits out and a blade.
So when you're using like $50 words, it's just no.
It's just it didn't jive super well for me. And there's some sections where they kind of were going in and out of the accent. And it was better when they got out of the accent. They were just acting like normal humans.
People.
Like the vernacular. That was cool.
And it was just not well acted. And so I don't know if it was badly directed. Like, oh yeah, give me more of that thing that you're doing that actually isn't very good.
I like the beauty next to the weapons. I
like the dichotomy.
I like dichotomy. That part's gonna be in my. That's in my.
Dichotomy.
It's in my deal. Like it's here forever. So that was kind of I felt about that. As far as the camera was concerned, I'm normally a fan of lively camera. I like for you to move it a little bit, and it was way too close, and it was cut way too hard, which was weird for me because. I know Cecily Faye is a fight choreographer, and I know that she clearly does martial arts and can do a whole lot of stuff. She was commando rolling like a champion throughout this entire deal, diving. And so I did normally people who do that, like you want to show it, you don't want to hide it. You hide it when you can't do it. So it was just really weird. And sometimes the camera was like they're doing dialogue or some sort of a dramatic sequence. And, there's a difference between natural movement, when you're still tracking like little jerks, and the little jerks were just kind of jarring.
Yeah, it was like motion sickness.
You're very sensitive to that sort of stuff. So that was interesting. So I'm probably going to go ahead and give it a 1 out of 5 blades on the plot camera, that sort of area. Stunts. What do you think about the stunts?
I feel like being more generous than normal for some reason. I want to give it like a 2. No, because I feel like they tried. Like, I feel like this was a really good, honest attempt. Where some movies where they have the money and all of the possibility of making it amazing and then it's not good, like you get less points for that.
I got you.
But if you start with less and you try harder, then you get more points for that. And I don't know if that's like reasonable way of scoring, but she was doing a lot of flips and stuff, which is like cool, but it seemed like every time they went to do a stunt there was a cut. And so it's like, were you guys actually doing stunts, or were you just cutting it to make it look like you were doing something, or were you doing it and it just sucked so bad that they had to cut it up to cover up its sucking?
I mean, they were slicing and dicing. So as far as the stunts, I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5, just because like she said, there was a lot of attempts. There was a lot of people were getting falling, ladies were getting slammed, people were getting kicked all over the place. So there were people taking some splashes. Nothing spectacular, nothing really over the top. No terrible falls. But they were doing some stuff. It was an interesting deal. And again, they get grimy indie points for, just doing it gritty. I don't know what the budget was. I doubt it was very high. I doubt it was if she was doing all that stuff and she's also executive producer. Doubting it was very high. So do want to make a special note when it comes to the costumes. So costumes and locations. We're pretty sure this movie opened in a brewery that they repurposed into,
I'm just guessing,
I don't know what, a castle from the elven foreign alien invaders or something like that. The costumes basically look like someone like watched Sucker Punch and was like super inspired, because even in her post, in her little running around being a city scamp feral warrior, she's basically, what was it? She like in a tutu and a...
Yeah, it was like bloomers. And I don't know if that's like an old timey word, but like booty shorts with like a ruffly skirt, like a tutu and a halt and like a bustier. Yeah, there were like a corset.
There was some fan service for you anime guys. You know what I'm talking about? A little bit of that. Lot of booty shots.
Yeah,
I mean, I know
a lot of butt shots.
I'll say this, Cecily, we appreciate you, spending some time in the gym. We like ladies who have a little bit of fitness. We just saw a lot of it that I didn't understand, because normally, women tend to complain about the objectification part, and it just, I wasn't expecting to see so much of it
from a woman,
a female-led thing. But that's your decision.
And then the opening shot of the lead antagonist was also a boob shot. She's wearing a shirt with a corset thing that's making her boobs stick out. Yeah. And the shot is like from her boobs up. Yeah. And I was just like, why? Mm-hmm. Why? What does this add?
Putting the girls out there. Putting the girls to work.
Does this add to the story?
Production value.
I don't get it.
So maybe that's, I've been told. Anyways,
I don't know.
So that's how we felt about that. And now to my favorite parts, these hands. So what did you think about the actual fighting?
I think the same thing that I said about the stunts is it was cut up so much. And so there were a bunch of parts, like the only time you really saw her actually fighting, where it wasn't getting cut up to pieces so that you couldn't see what was going on. It was in slow motion, which makes me think that whatever was happening, they were actually doing slow, and then they put it in slow motion so that you could see it all the way through. Do you know what I mean? To like cover up the fact that they were doing it slowly, they then edited it into slow motion.
Speed and ramped it. I got you.
Yeah.
And that could have been the case. I mean, a lot of times people will go 3/4 speed to make sure it's nice and clean and safe, and then some people will bump it up a bit. We've actually had to bump stuff down because we were going so fast that it didn't look real at normal speed. And it literally that was a problem. One of the things is that the chick can move. I'm gonna give her that. Like I saw her in some other dragon movie, and I was like, "Who is this little person jumping around?" So she can move. She can throw kicks. She's got a lot of ground game. I'm assuming there's some capoeira, yoga, something going on. I don't know what. She's got some moves. It's just the fight choreography. Some of the sword stuff was really good, and some of it was weird. And then it was like it was going back and forth to like there were sections that were good, and there was parts that's not very good. And there was a lot of whiffed shots. There's scenes like where there's got the red backdrop. It didn't look like all the attacks connected. And she's a small woman. Like she's like 4 foot and maybe some change. So like you got to be real careful with that. You got to get all the way up in there and make sure you're crossing the line. So there was a lot of things that didn't look like they connected. But one thing that's interesting about this is that she does a really good job whenever the weapons get dropped and she closes the distance and starts having to put like locking. You know, like instead of more than that, instead of like, kickboxing where you're punching, you're on the outside, maybe, waiting for your opportunity. When she's in the pocket and they're trapping and they're not letting go, and they're basically doing like Chi Sao, Jeet Kune Do, Wing Chun type stuff like that in close, Chinese boxing. She does a really good job with that, like an abnormally good job with that. And so they should probably focus more on that. And actually, everybody in the movie did a really good job with that part. It was the other stuff where it was a little wonky for me. So I'm gonna probably I could give it like 2.5 blades on the fighting. It was interesting enough to watch. Would I pay for a theater trip to watch that? Nah. Red box rental, $2.99, and that was going on. You're between action films in the theaters. I could get a fix out of this,
Yeah.
So
it was definitely an honest attempt.
Yeah. Yeah. So all in all, good on you, Cecily, for doing your work. I mean, you're still making movies. I'm probably gonna have to holler at you and slide you in there, have you something like a action halfling and a fantasy joint. Really, really mix up the genre with that. Really help let you get it in.
I'm sure she would love to be a hobbit.
Yeah, well, I mean, hobbits are a little too small. I mean, the weird foot. They got the weird foot.
I'm being sarcastic.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You gotta play to your strengths.
I guess you're right. You're right.
Play to your strengths. If you're like
it's
4
hard
feet
to be
tall,
like small and like not be taken seriously.
Well, it's got nothing to do with that. It's like everything's got. It's not being not taken seriously. If you're short, then you play short characters.
You're right.
Like, I'm not going to make her 6'2" Amazonian freaking barbarian in the next project. That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, we gave it a 1 on the plot, 2 for the stunts, 2.5. So we have a whopping 5.5 out of a possible 15.
I think you gave her a higher score than I did.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5 blades. That's my final score. What you working with 2? I think you got like 2.
I'd go like 1.5.
1.5?
Yeah. Was
it worth a rental? Like a red box? Like a 99 cents?
Yeah.
Like a candy bar now is like $1.49.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
It's like 1.5 oatmeal cream pies.
I would I would say yes, and I would just ask girl, put the skin away. Put the skin away. I don't know why women think that they got to have their tits all out to be taken seriously in Hollywood. But, all this Me Too crap, and then everybody's running around with their boobs out and their butt out, and then you want to be taken seriously. And I'm saying you don't get to have it both ways.
Yeah. So, robe up. Put some clothes on.
Yes.
I'll still watch the stuff.
I would enjoy watching it more.
Again, I got you. I got you, girl. I got you for something. I got a vision for you. Holla at your boy, The Violence Conductor, at The Violence Conductor. You know, Instagram, you know where I'm at. Facebook, you already know.
Erica Reddick for president. Check me out on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, appreciate you guys watching. You know, like we say, keep watching, keep filming, keep fighting. Good. You want me, baby.